Good morning, welcome to the Barrel Roll Newscast, September 9th, 2017.
Today on the newscast, we talk about L.A. Noire.
Starsky and Hutch, TV reboot.
Poor Mario.
And the Simpsons composer.
Yeah.
We'll let you know what happened.
All that and more. Stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Barrel Roll Newscast.
Hi.
It's still September 9th.
It's still.
You
know, one day we're going to do this at like 11:59 and then it'll switch over.
We were close at after hours.
Yes.
We were close on that.
Like 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Almost.
Either who.
Welcome
we're
to
not
the
after hours.
Welcome to the Barrel Roll
No, this
Newscast.
is current hours.
This is
we
current hours.
We are open now. We are open business hours.
Depends when you watch it when it's current hours.
We're open.
We are live.
We are live.
For people who watch it later.
This is our business hours.
Saturday
from 11 till like 2, 3, or 4, whatever.
Whenever we want to be done. You don't know us.
Yeah, we're freelance.
You're not our boss.
You're not our supervisor.
Either who. On the Barrel Roll Newscast, we talk about all the weird gaming and movie, TV news, and all that stuff that's happened this week.
Everything in between, basically.
Yeah, and we talk about it. Yeah. So prepare for some awesome. Either way.
Yeah,
This is news I was not expecting to start things off with, but at all.
Let's get in. Well, honestly, after the company, not company, but like the organization and the developers like split apart, it's like, okay, well, that series is done now.
Yeah, but L.A. Noire.
L.A. Noire.
Is getting a re-release.
L.A. Noire, I think, was an amazing game.
Good game.
Like,
I did enjoy that game. Like I said to you guys before, my biggest thing was the interrogations. I got to one point where I just got stuck.
Cheat sheet.
Well, but
you almost
thing,
did a cheat sheet.
I got stuck and I was just like, and something else came out, and
I think the tech behind that game is more impressive than the actual game itself.
But I love the whole detective feel.
I love that era,
and I love the
that era
was
excellent.
It worked perfectly for a game.
So during PAX last week, they basically Rockstar came out and said, "Hey, we're re-releasing L.A. Noire," because it had been in talks forever.
Yeah.
Like, there's always been rumors and speculation of Rockstar bringing L.A. Noire back.
Yeah.
But they're bringing back for the PS3 or PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Oh, no,
it was always on PC.
Because you can still get it on PC and optimize it to a point where it still looks good.
You get the VR version on PC.
The VR is
VR episode or something.
It's working its way.
But more importantly,
the big news.
The Nintendo Switch is getting a version of L.A. Noire with actual touch controls and touch stuff to it.
Yeah, they've added the HD Rumble.
There's actually touch now?
Yeah. So they're adding, and it'll be exclusive to the...
Hey, are you telling the truth? No. Hey.
Touch the evidence. touch the evidence. So...
I don't know how that'll all end up working. HD Rumble might be cool if they add it in properly with the... if that could make interrogations better.
Well, I was thinking more because a lot of the game has to do with picking up evidence and turning it around. So if you pick it up...
Yeah, it might be cool to just attach the thing and...
You can feel...
You can flick it.
Stuff.
Well, but if you think of that game with the marbles... Yeah. Or even just some of the stuff in...
So you could be picking up, like, say, a bottle of
You could be picking something up and actually having to, like... You could do your
just make a sequel.
But that's kind of what everybody's saying at this point, is if this does well...
And so the big
lead into it.
It's super weird and super awkward because I thought Team Bondi... Yeah. Bondi. That's the original developers who made...
I don't remember.
L.A. Noire. They had disbanded shortly after they finished all the DLC.
But so a lot of that happens.
Yeah, but it's weird to see their name like plastered in front of this trailer again.
Yeah, because it's still their game. Like
it's technically still their game, but like they've all gone on bigger and better things at this point. Hopefully,
maybe they're rebooting.
So this is positive, I think, for the entire.
This is awesome. This is good for Rockstar. This is awesome for Nintendo that Rockstar's like. Heck yeah, and you guys are getting a game on your system.
Like you think about L.A. Noire, what other games does Rockstar do? You think like Red Dead Redemption, you think Bully, you think...
Batman. No, that's wrong.
That's Rocksteady.
Rocksteady. Although that would be another great game on the Switch.
Bring us Batman next.
Yes. But yeah, and Dare I say it, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
would be cool if they could.
Yeah. Well, even someone was saying like if this does well enough on the Switch, even if we got another because Chinatown Wars came out for the 3DS or the DS ages ago, they're like even if we got like an upgraded version that looked kind of cool, like Chinatown Wars 2.
Yeah.
They're like that game was a blast. If they could make it look good, like if they could make a sequel on the Switch that looked really good,
and
because they're like I don't need the big expansive city. Yeah. Just give me.
And it's nice because
GTA portable Switch version that's. It could be smaller, but it's still GTA.
And it's nice to see Rockstar taking, risks with a Switch because everyone is associating Nintendo with, it's E-friendly games. There's never a lot of balance. No, with LA Noire. That's a dark game. That can get real dark.
Yeah. No, the Switch has been doing, and even Nintendo at this point is reporting that like they're not sure if they can get enough out for Christmas, and they're sitting there going, "Sorry guys, like we know we're normally the company that can get you guys through the Christmas thing," and they're like, "But we did not honestly. One, they can't get the chipset because
Apple's being fuck
is
you.
Using, we got the same chips,
and we're using same plant.
What is it? Same plant. Like it's the only place that makes them. So they're fighting over and competing over these.
And guess what's coming out next week?
Yeah.
New iPhone. Yeah. So it's like, oh shit.
So Nintendo's like, we're ramping, guys. We're going, but we might not have enough through Christmas. And everybody's like, this is just a tactic to increase demand. And everybody's
no, that was a Super Nintendo classic. That's a Super Nintendo.
Well, but everybody's like, guys, not having your stock out for Christmas is not a tactic. It does not create more want. You want your console out because if mom and dad go to buy a Switch and there's no Switch, they're gonna get a PS4 or an Xbox One.
It's not like Nintendo's trying to start fights.
And here's my
no.
And
they just didn't think they'd be this popular because they're like the last console.
And you know what? They could totally, if they want to, they could totally cut corners and kind of push this thing out.
Yeah.
But I would rather them take their time, make quality products, and have a limited supply.
Sure.
Because nothing goes well, nothing combos
either way. Stock. They have sold more Switches than they intended to right off. already they've sold more Switches than they intended to. So it's just at this point Nintendo's going, we did not expect this to happen, and everybody's like, and even the industry, Forbes even said it was going to go to crap. And
I think Nintendo. I think not Masuda, the guy who is the CEO of the Pokemon company. He didn't think it was going to. He thought it was going to be sort of a tanky business. That's why they're working on the Pokemon Switch so late.
Yeah, because they weren't going to work.
It was going to be out this Christmas had they started development
when they asked them to.
Yes. So
but
it's
that's the thing is and even someone.
And I'm not complaining. There's Pokken tournament's okay too. I'll take.
We have enough good stuff right now to carry. We have Mario Odyssey coming out.
Mario Odyssey, Pokken tournament. LA Noire will be out. I think this year.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be November or something.
So this year,
Rabbids, Mario.
Even just Mario Kart alone.
Mario Kart was good just to have. There's enough solid titles.
So Odyssey is coming out.
That's what Odyssey at Christmas. That's your big Christmas sell. Splatoon's out.
Next year will be Pokemon.
But that's what I mean. So it's just Pokemon at Christmas next year. You're making gangbusters.
You're still going to be selling out of Switches.
But it's cool, and Nintendo was just we weren't expecting this, and someone online's they weren't expecting their home console to sell so well. They didn't think I've got a super powerful portable that I can also play on my TV. That's the big sell for a lot of people.
It still is for
my dock has not been plugged in for a week and I've still been playing my Switch.
Yeah, I know.
I do both.
That's what I mean. It's it sits next to my bed now because I can play in bed and just be this is delightful. I don't need I don't need not like the Wii U where you needed the console close to you. This one's just doop 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 doop.
And the technology and science has gone far enough that they can do that.
Yeah.
So which is the nice piece. Because I know that the Wii U, that's what they wanted. That's obviously
that is what they wanted.
That was their vision, but they didn't have the tech for it.
Now I can actually play my Switch on the toilet. Again, that was my big thing. The Wii U, I was
you wanted to play a game on a toilet.
Well, no, because that was my thing. The Wii U was you don't have to pause your game. You just hit a button essentially and move to where you need to move. And it's you need to go to the bathroom. So you hit the button, you go into and again, it's a wall.
Yeah, my Wii U was terrible.
Separating the two, and the Wii U's can't find the Wii U.
And I think that a part of that had to do with the proprietary wireless technology.
It was. It sucked. But at least now, the Switch, it's
it's all that console's got so many standard stuff in it, Type C, USB.
The only thing that people do complain about the Wi-Fi antenna is still pretty weak. But I don't have a problem.
I don't have a problem.
You have that problem.
I have my Switch hardwired to the wall, so with the Ethernet cable. So
I have a Wi-Fi extender upstairs now, which I actually bought for my old phone because my old phone I couldn't get internet like in my bedroom.
I don't know.
And then I got a new phone, so now I have no issues with my internet anywhere in my freaking house.
So yeah, LA Noire. I don't know if I want to get it.
I think it again.
I think the silver lining around it is that the PS4 and Xbox One versions are going to be cheaper. The Switch version will be $10 more. And I think honestly, I think a part of that has to do with the cartridge. Because if you remember, there's different Switch cartridges sizes.
Part of it might be cartridge. Part of it might also be.
It's never been on this Nintendo.
That's kind of the thing is that like I just bought a baseball game that came out last week on the Switch. That RBI baseball.
Yeah.
It is not the best baseball game in the world, and on everything else it's like $30, and I had to pay $40 because there is no baseball game on the Switch. So you can kind of like everybody's kind of like, oh, it's coming out for the Switch. It's going to be an extra little bit of money. Just because at this point you kind of.
I think that they can with the artificial scarcity. I think they can start doing that.
Yeah.
Not that I think it's a good idea. It's never a good idea.
But again, you want to play LA Noire.
And I think a lot of it has to do with them also going back and reworking it for the Switch because it's a different mainframe, different framework, especially adding touch controls and rumble and
but that's what I mean. There's extra features attached to it too. But the fact that they can it's coming out at the same time is a big deal.
I think I'm
actually what hurt the Wii U.
I'm actually surprised how well kept a secret this was.
I know, because it's like it's coming out like in 2 months, and it's like
usually Rockstar's really bad for that kind of stuff.
It's like it's coming out soon, and I'm like,
they've smartened up.
I'm confused. Oh no, thank you. No.
Call me later.
Tony, bad.
Call me. Oh man, this is escalating quickly.
I'm on it, folks.
This is escalating quickly.
I'm on it.
I'm with you.
I won't buy it.
I'm with you, Chris. I don't know if I want to because I played the hell out of the game. I'm actually surprised I enjoyed that game as much as I did.
Like I said, my biggest thing was the interrogations got to me, and I never finished the game. If I can bring it with me, I can play it in bed, sort of thing. It might actually
scare you.
What, LA Noire?
No, it's not gonna. No,
it's not it.
It's not a horror game.
VR.
It might be a horror game.
Yeah. There is such a thing.
Oh my god, yes.
Why is the bed wet? Don't ask questions.
It was the dog. It was the dog. It was the dog.
Totally the dog.
It was the dog. It was the dog. Why Pancake?
Turn on inappropriate comment grabbing. Yeah, that'll be the one.
Okay, so moving on here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got weird news.
James
Gunn is at it. He's not doing Guardians Volume 3 yet.
He's at it again.
He is reportedly going out and doing a Starsky and Hutch TV reboot.
I think the show works better.
It works better as a show.
The thing works better as a show than a movie.
It totally does.
And I think the movie could have possibly worked if you didn't again get Owen Wilson and Ben. Not that I don't like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller.
I think they're too much together.
But together they become.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
They work better together in Zoolander.
1.
Yes.
Also, 2 is bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched 2. That was bad.
See, not Ben Stiller's really hit and miss for me.
I kind of turned into what Adam Sandler is right now, where his movies are starting to.
Yeah. I don't know. I loved him in Mystery Men.
Yeah.
But then I forgot what the movie was now, but he did a few of them where he's the angry guy, right? And you're like, it worked in Mystery Men because they just played off of it. But for the longest time, he was just the angry dude. And then he tried to do some of the, that Walter Schmitty movie or whatever it was.
That was an okay movie.
That was okay, but, he tried to get into that, and then it's now back into...
Midnight...
Those or whatever.
Okay, those are great kids' movies, though.
Those are good kids' little flicks.
I'm not saying they're bad,
He's not great in
them.
Owen Wilson, though, at least can pull off, because he's, the Royal Tenenbaums, and... Because he's with those directors where he can be quirky. But, again, it's he's hit or miss. But when the two of them get together, yeah, it gets kind of...
The same.
Yeah. But James Gunn doing an 80s style cop show?
I totally see that. That's totally up his alley.
Right.
I wonder what network is picking this up.
Who owned...
I want to say Fox.
No. Starsky and Hutch was probably ABC or NBC.
No. Well...
Maybe not ABC.
I don't know.
Fact checking. Because that's another big piece of what network he goes on, right?
Yeah. I won't say you're right with Fox, though. That almost sounds right.
Network. ABC. Weird. Right after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, that would work. He's still affiliated with the...
Right after Inhuman Season 2, because that's going to be great.
Or in the middle of it, because it gets canceled so fast.
At work at Sony with James Gunn.
So I guess the TV and movie license is going to be wildly different then, too. Because it'll be like a Firefly situation.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
I think doing the time period genre, if they do time period genre, would be good. I hope they don't kind of update.
But that's a good
to
modern day how they did with
Hawaii FiveO and everything else. Yeah,
but Hawaii FiveO is still going strong though.
Hawaii FiveO did a very good job of updating.
I think
it's like you even look at MacGyver that came out this year, and it's just not the same.
Well, I heard it's still good.
I heard it's, and I mean, it's one of those shows that people are like, "Oh, I've watched Hawaii FiveO. I will now watch MacGyver."
And I know that, and I don't know if this is comparing apples to oranges, but like, look at Sherlock, like, traditionally like 18th century piece, and then you look at the newest one with Benedict Cumberbatch. Like that show is amazing. Well,
then there was also the Americanized one,
which actually is still doing fairly well. But Sherlock as a character is very. It's what he can do.
Yes.
Starsky and Hutch, it's very much like
it's an ensemble thing, isn't it? So
it's an ensemble, and they were after drugs, buddy and this, and buddy cop.
But there's already so many buddy cops out there. You got Lethal Weapon out there right now.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon could use they should have done a period piece too.
Apparently that show's doing not too bad either.
It's not. That's because people watch bad television. The Big Bang Theory's still on TV.
We help by not watching TV.
I still watch that one. So I watch TV.
I do.
I don't have a TV. I haven't had a TV subscription in, I don't know, since 2009.
Mine's very... but like I'll try Hawaii FiveO, and it's like, all right.
Well, my mom used to watch it.
Right, like it's on at my in-laws' place. So you go over there, and it's like Hawaii FiveO's on, and you're like, okay. Now there's no Asians on the show anymore, but you know.
They'll come back.
All my in-laws watch is whatever Home Network is on, or some sort of like.
I watch HGTV. I watch Food Network. I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Actually, they flip around. They flip around because of commercials as well. So it's like all over the place. I get confused by commercials.
My wife has all the shows that she actually records and stuff on.
Family and...
See, and I never got into that show. See, but I watch more of the comedies and stuff, but the like buddy cop shows because I watched the first Lethal Weapon because I'm like, Lethal Weapon's Lethal Weapon, right?
They tried Rush Hour and that did.
Yeah,
that's so bad.
I feel shame.
You mean without Jackie Chan, those aren't good?
I've actually never watched Lethal Weapon either.
The movies?
Yeah.
You should watch those. They're good.
Disappointed again.
Not my thing.
But again,
I watched Rush Hour though. Oh boy.
But again, I think the Lethal Weapon movies, like those buddy cop movies, worked well in the '80s and '90s because, again, the technology. I'm not sure if it was the technology or just like. You look at
the simplicity of it.
Yeah, like cops now have like the rules are so strict on everything, and this is that.
But these guys don't play by their own rules.
But that's the thing. In the '80s and '90s, you could watch a cop show where it's like, I don't play by the rules, and you're like, damn, Skippy, you don't.
If you don't say that in this episode.
Now it's like you watch the Lethal Weapon show where it's like these two don't play by the rules, and they blow up a car full of like drug fiends, and everybody's like, you killed 4 people, and they're like, so. And they're like, you're in a lot of trouble!
They still don't care.
And they're like, I don't care. And it's like, and all of a sudden it's like a year later after they've been like, on probation on the force or whatever. And it's just because they actually have to go through the rules of like, modern day cop stuff. Whereas if you said it in the 80s with Starsky and Hutch, the insane driving with the car, like all the drug make it the 70s.
And honestly, the name of Starsky and Hutch, you can totally get away with it. Like, oh, these guys are just up to their hijinks again.
Yeah, exactly. You can pretty much make it a Scooby-Doo episode every time, and everybody
will be Dukes of Hazzard.
They can't do that show. Why? You can't
not this time of day. Not this era. Right now. No, that's a bad idea.
People are mad at the freaking car because it has the Confederate flag on it.
There's so many in there, and that show is a bad idea.
Like, that's the thing.
Obviously, you don't put the Confederate flag.
Well, then it's not.
But then it's not like.
It's not.
Because they're supposed to be those kind of idiots, but people won't take it that way. They'll be like, ah!
It's supposed to be a spoof, but then once it comes out, people are going to be like, this was offensive.
That was actually a decent film. Mm-hmm. Dukes of Hazzard with Jessica Simpson.
But I think
she was just dumb enough to be Daisy.
I was going to say, like, if you get her to do that, that's her. Just Jessica, just do yourself. What?
She's too old now.
No, she can still fit into those shorts. But that's what I mean. Like, Dukes of Hazzard was an okay movie because it didn't take itself seriously. Starsky and Hutch, they went... It was cute, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll work
with James Gunn, though, behind it.
With James Gunn behind, at least the first...
Because James Gunn understands source material.
Yeah, and setting the tone for the show, I think, will be good. Because James Gunn won't stay on the show. No. He'll be like the showrunner.
He'll be like Joss Whedon.
Yeah, he'll boot things off and pass it along.
Here's your pilot. I'm going to screw up your series. Go.
Or it'll be like one of those things where he'll set up an awesome show and the first 2 episodes will be great and everybody will watch it and then he'll pass it on to someone and it'll go back to like, well, we have to make this a regular, like, you know, will they, won't they sort of like, you know, we have to find a love interest for one of them or a love triangle thingy and it'll just become basic television.
Basic. So basic.
Well, but that's why I appreciate about the Netflix shows. Like, even watch Stranger Things, they didn't set it up for a lot of that, like, will they, won't they, this or that, or blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. They just made a really good show.
But I think with Stranger Things, that formula is wildly different, though. Like, you can sit through
But they did, and they went with it. On TV, like, on the networks, if you don't have the will they, won't they, or the love triangle, or the this, or, like, they won't even pick your show up.
No.
And it drives me nuts, because it's like, a Starsky and Hutch doesn't need that.
There will be.
There will be.
The Lethal Weapon doesn't need that either. If you really think about it.
I don't. Yeah, but Murtaugh's already married.
I was going to say Murtaugh's already married, and the other one, I think it took, 4 movies for him to finally get hitched?
He was in a relationship in 3, and then they got married and had a kid in 4.
There's 4 of them?
Yep.
Yeah, there's 4 Lethal Weapons.
Oh.
I still remember.
We gotta catch you up.
I still remember, because I watched...
There's 4 of those?
I've watched Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3 on Superstation, where they bleep out all the swearing and the bad stuff. So when 4 came out in theaters, I still remember my mother took me to see it. And I forgot how old I was, but I was, like, just on the cusp of, like, probably turning into a teenager.
Yeah.
So my mother takes me to see this movie, and it's, like, Joe Pesci swearing up a storm.
Yep.
And, like, you know, guns firing and sex and violence and, like...
Jet Li flying around killing people.
And I just remember everybody in the theater pretty much turning around, like, looking around, like, turning at me, and my mother looking, like, what a horrible person you are for bringing your child to see this film. And it was just, like, you know...
That's not a bad film.
It's really not. Like,
There's worse.
If you raise your kids properly... Like, it's not like I left the theater swearing like Joe Pesci. Yeah. I left the theater going, that was amazing.
I want to do that.
But it's not like I go to school the next day and be like, guys,
I learned a new word.
I learned a lot of new words yesterday. And some
actions I can...
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, it was a good movie, da-da-da-da-da-da. But yeah, I'm not going around like, oh, well, I'm going to start swearing like Joe Pesci. But that's because my parents raised me the way they raised me. But yeah, I remember that one. That was funny because my mother just left the theater like, oh my god, I can't believe I just took you to see this film in theaters. But she's like, I don't remember the other ones being that bad. And that's like, because we watched them on Superstation.
Rated E for everyone.
They do, though. They replace all the words. They, like, cut out the, like,
I've never had
scene where you
most of the violence. You still see people kind of get shot.
But you see Mel Gibson, like, raise the gun and shoot.
You don't see him connect.
But you see, like, you don't see the connect. You just see, like, a guy fall.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Superstation's really good. Like, their editing, honestly, good. I really like it. And the fact, because we talked about this months and months ago. It annoyed me sometimes. Because
when
you actually know the film.
Well, yeah, when I want to watch the real film.
But that's why when they were talking about re-releasing some movies, like a family-friendly version of some movies on the DVD, I was like, I'm okay with that. If it's, like, in the extra features, I can just turn on family mode and it'll cut. Because it'd be awesome to watch Lethal Weapon like that if and when I have a child. I can be like, Lethal Weapon.
I would just hold out
till
the kid is old enough and
family phone.
I know.
Bombard them with it.
Okay, here's the pile when you're 14. Here's the pile when you're...
Here's Die Hard. Here's Lethal
Here's
Weapon.
The pile for when your mom goes away and you can't watch it before you're 18, but we will. Boondock Saints. Like, you know.
Yes.
I still remember my uncle rented that one when my parents went away and he was watching me. And he's like, no one knows about this.
Right.
And I'm like, what kind of movie are we watching?
I remember convincing my grandma to go see Blade 2.
Ooh, great. Bold.
That was great. I
love
that movie.
Cotton. Did it pay off?
Well, she didn't like it.
Really?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
So...
I think this could be a good show.
I think so, too.
We'll see what happens.
I probably won't watch it, but I'll read reviews.
And in the current climate of all these shows coming out, MacGyver and Hawaii FiveO, this will slide right in with all those. So.
And with it being on ABC, ABC doesn't really have anything like that. Right
no,
now.
they haven't done any of the reboot type shows. So.
They're all just original content.
Now.
They do now. We're jumping into
involved.
that game.
Speaking of jumping into games,
weird bit of news.
So Mario lost his job, guys.
Yes,
I hate to say it.
He's unemployed.
Mario, well, he's not
unemployed.
He's now a super freelancer.
He's a Swiss Army knife.
He is a Swiss. He can jump into other people's heads now, guys. Come on. He can be anything you want him to be.
The hat.
Anything you want him.
This whole time.
It was his hat. Yes, you know when you lost your hat in Mario 64, there's a reason why you suck ass in that game without your hat.
So the big news: the Japanese website has profile pages on like all the Mario characters. Yeah. Mario's has recently been updated to say that he is a sporty guy who enjoys things like tennis and baseball and go-karting.
Yes.
He likes to do everything cool, and of course this is the Japanese website, so translated into English it sounds really clunky.
But one thing that didn't...
It's on there.
The one thing that is correctly translated, though.
It says is, at one point he may have used to be a plumber.
At one point.
So when he lost his job, we'll never know.
Jumping in those pipes. And then he started going a little crazy.
I think it's a good speculation. When did he stop being a plumber? Was it Mario Sunshine? Was it Smash Brothers? Was it...
He still goes into pipes. In Mario's
maybe
Mario
he just
Rabbids,
got. Maybe he jumped in pipes and he smoked too much, or he not smoked, but
yes,
the fumes got to him. And this is what the whole Mario world is.
It's just it's mushrooms and pipes, like
drugs and coins and blocks.
And that's how he lost his job.
Well, and even they were saying
he's a doctor.
They were saying Miyamoto was kind of talking about it ages ago when he was first in Donkey Kong. It was like, well, he may be a carpenter. Because in Donkey Kong, he was climbing scaffolding and all that kind of stuff.
That was the farthest thing from plumbing.
So maybe...
He had a hammer, too.
He had a hammer. So that's what, like, Miyamoto was like, well, maybe he's a carpenter, and then the next game, all of a sudden, he was underground with monsters coming out of pipes. So all of a sudden, it's like, oh, yeah, he's a plumber. And then the television show, like, solidified that.
Really got that old 90s show?
Yeah. It was the Mario Bros. Plumbing company.
Maybe, and so that's the big thing, is that now he sold his company.
Maybe he's gotten out of the plumbing business.
Yes, he's no longer there.
I don't know. Maybe he had to change all the pipes. Now maybe Mario games will no longer.
I like the fume stuff. He's drugged.
He's just drugged up the whole time. He's just like, I save you, princess.
Yes,
he's like on the couch.
Yes, Mario.
Right there.
And then Luigi's like, yes, Mario, yes.
Whatever you say, Mario.
Okay.
Sitting next to him, just like helping him through the fever dream sort of thing.
I used to be a plumber, yeah.
He's got all his little action figures, yeah.
It's literally him as a plumber.
Well, if you like the Rabbids game is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they let go in that game. Like they drop swear bombs in that game apparently.
I haven't heard those, but
they swear in that game. My understanding.
The like opening intro is like supposed to be our world sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this kid or teenagers created a VR headset that it combines things. So it takes two things and it fuses them into one.
So in this universe, Mario doesn't actually exist yet.
So in this guy's basement is all of the like Mario stuff.
Yeah. Kind of like this basement.
Yeah, kind of like here. And what ends up happening is all of a sudden like the Rabbids, and I haven't played one of their games in forever, but they do have a vehicle that they teleport.
It's one of their time travel.
Time and dimensional transport.
Rabbids in time or something.
So the Rabbids transport themselves into this basement after like this kid leaves his helmet sitting on the desk. And they start doing what Rabbids do and causing chaos. So think minions running around a basement full of tech. And one of them puts the helmet on.
It gets stuck to his face, doesn't it?
And starts fusing crap together, and then also gets launched into the machine, which launches them into the Mario universe. And as they're launched into there, everything goes like batshit crazy. And yes, the helmet fuses to his head, and he becomes like this fusion Rabbid. And anything,
the evil one?
He's not evil. Anything he looks at fuses together with the next thing it looks at. So he's not doing it on purpose, but the thing stuck to his head, and anything he looks at eventually fuses, so all of a sudden a rabbit fuses with a piranha plant. And the point where I'm at the game is Baby Bowser has shown up and kidnapped said rabbit.
And is going to use it?
To use for like evil, nefarious purposes. So the boss I'm facing right now, they don't actually show them fuse, and I haven't beaten the boss yet, but it's a giant like rabbit with like fur all over and a necktie.
Donkey Kong.
That's who he is fused with. And I'm like...
Rabbit Kong, I think is what they were calling in.
Yeah. And the other rabbits that are in costume are not fused with Mario. Yeah. They just went around the basement picking up all the cosplay stuff and putting it on. So when they showed up, they were just like, and you're like, oh god,
I really want to see. I like the Princess Rabbit.
Yeah, the Princess Rabbit's the best because she's always taking selfies. Like it is absolutely a bonkers game, but yeah.
I'm actually surprised that game exists.
But yeah, Mario's definitely still a plumber in that game because there are pipes everywhere.
Just because there's pipes doesn't mean he's a plumber, though.
Could mean he's a drug addict.
Not that kind of pipe.
He could be just a homeless person. He just knows pipes really well.
We're just gonna ruin Mario right now.
Oh, he's sporty and he loves to do everything cool. Take that as
including drugs and the pipes.
There you go.
Just not plumbers. Just not plumbing. Just not that.
Oh dear. Either who.
Moving on.
Last bit of news.
Yeah. What is it?
Simpsons.
More sad news. Someone else lost their job.
In real life, someone else lost their job.
So I forgot his name, but the Simpsons composer who's been doing Simpsons songs for 27 years. The only song he didn't do was the theme song, which is by Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And which is not supposedly changing.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me. It's a little too iconic.
But the composer who does the songs for every episode of The Simpsons has been fired. And they're going in a new direction with their music.
Oh, God.
Digital.
Well, that's
electronic.
Everybody's like, EDM? Like, what are we... what's going on? Because even watching... Because I got through all of Family Guy. How? And just having it on. So, I mean, I've missed episodes of Family Guy, but I made it through, and finally Netflix was like, you're out of episodes, and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure I missed most of those, but all right. Like Seth MacFarlane talks, and he hires the same sort of thing, where he has a composer and a 36-piece orchestra. Like, it's not digital, it's a full-on, like, they get 36 people in.
And
with
instruments. I think that at that point you can kind of get away with something like that, but it gets expensive though.
And that's the problem, is The Simpsons has apparently been trying to cut costs for years and years and years and years.
Well, they stopped doing DVDs a couple years back, didn't they?
I don't know.
This might be
they don't. You can't buy Simpsons on DVD anymore.
The beginning of the end.
Sort of. And the funny part is The Simpsons is still making Fox buttloads of money.
It's too iconic at this point.
But that's the thing, it still makes them buttloads of money, but now they're at the point where it's like, well, the more we cut costs, the more money we end up making. So, yes, they've released this composer, and clearly the 36 people that come with this composer.
His tag-alongs.
So
his cronies.
In my mind, I think the music's not going to change a lot. I think you're just going to they're going to hire Jim, who can do all of it on the computer. So you still get the
electronic then.
It's electronic, but it's still a 36-piece orchestra, but it's just Jim making all this. It's MIDI music, essentially. Stepped up.
I want 8-bit Simpsons music now, then.
Okay, let's just go play the arcade game.
So I'm just going to have a better time playing the arcade game.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I'm okay with that. That's actually a true story.
That's what I laugh with, like, these animated shows, is there's a lot of money that goes into them. But you notice, as the show gains popularity and starts making more money, like, the production value goes up, which is good. That's why I keep watching. If your production value starts to drop, I haven't watched The Simpsons in years.
You see that a lot with anime too in Japan. Yeah. Like, especially the really, really popular ones like One Piece.
Yeah.
Where if you watch like the first 2 or 3 years of it, all of it was hand drawn.
Yep.
Now, no, none of it is hand drawn.
But at the same time,
it is so wildly popular.
We've gotten to the point where the digital work is comparable to a lot of hand-drawn stuff, which helps.
And it takes so much less time, too.
Right, because you can actually animate, you can put Homer Simpson in the computer, and Homer Simpson walking now, you never have to redraw, because you hit a button and Homer just
does this thing, and then if you need to make slight adjustments, like he's holding a donut now, or saying, like, an anime, they need to, do a different facial expression. It's easy to do on a computer.
It's easy enough to do now on the computer because the base is there.
And even if you look at some of these new video games coming out that are supposed to be based off of cartoons, they look shockingly like
they're amazing.
The show. Something like South Park.
South Park is gorgeous.
It's a prime example of that. Like, it looks like the show.
Someone was talking about South Park the other day. just with the new. That they were talking about the difficulty level. So remember the last time they had the Jewish class?
Oh yes. I heard about this.
Level. When you turn up the difficulty in the new South Park game, your character goes from white to black. So the blacker you are, the harder the game is.
Oh god.
Let's just go right into it, guys.
And they're willing to push that.
And that's why I love Trey Parker and Matt Stone, because they do push. And again, I'm not a huge South Park fan, but the fact that
they're willing to do stuff.
We'll push this button as far as we can push it.
Shouldn't it be the other way around, apparently, in this day and age?
Well, no. So the fact is...
harder for that person to get around.
And that's the thing is, it's not the fact that the battles get harder. Your character interactions are actually more difficult within the game because you're black. And I'm just like, thank you. But someone posted on the subreddit, they're like, if you're not a huge video game fan, this is the one game you should pick up. And I'm like almost ready to reply, like, if you're not a huge South Park person, this is a great game to pick up just because it's such a well done game.
It's a well done game. They know exactly which borders they can walk on.
But like Stick of Truth,
holy,
again, I'm not a huge South Park person.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
But that game was amazing. And then you
just took so many turns.
Well, just you think you've gotten so far, and then you hit Canada, and you're just like, oh my god.
They did it. They did the thing. Everything. There's Canadian currency, guys.
Like, the whole game changes. You hit Canada and the game changes. You hit this other part of the thing and the game changes, and it's like, holy cow.
The abortion clinic.
But that's what I mean.
Spaceship.
Like, it just kept going.
Not going. Stan. What's the dad's name again? Randy. Yeah. Randy's the best character in the entire game.
But that's what I mean. There was so many good,
they're
beats to that game, and it was such a well done game. Like, I had fun playing it, where I'm just like, I don't care if it's South Park. It was well done.
Ubisoft, right?
That was Ubisoft, and of course Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Ubisoft's still doing the third one, right? Or second one, right?
Yeah.
Put it on the Switch.
That's what we've been asking
Please,
for. Please,
just just do it. Even if the first one was on the Switch, I'd buy that.
Okay
I honestly think that Ubisoft said no just because they would have had to have a later release date, and they know how that works. Because the Wii U did that with so many games where it was like...
cross-platform.
It was cross-platform, but you have to wait 6 months. Jeepers creepers. What word is in our thing this time?
Noire.
I guess so.
We tried X-Hamster last time. It didn't work. Well, it didn't work. It didn't work as well as this.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that we're
I wouldn't be surprised if down the road they go, hey, this is a Switch version, go.
And maybe if it does well enough, and they kind of get enough people,
I think it will.
And they get enough people going, like, it'd be nice if this came out on Switch.
Just saying.
Maybe.
Because that game is prime for touch controls.
But it would turn out so inappropriate.
I wouldn't even want touch controls.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It would.
No, but like even if it comes to like menu selection and stuff like that, because if it's still the same type of RPG stuff, it's.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even need touch controls.
No, you don't need to.
That, like, again,
everything works.
My thing with the Switch is I could play Fractured Butthole wherever I go, sort of thing.
And have everyone watch what you're doing.
And that's the big piece is, like, you're sitting on the bus, next to an old lady, and you're like, look, they're having sex in the background. Isn't that fun?
I have to stand here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Watch the boss fight. Giant ball sack.
Oh god, that game.
Yeah,
I need to platinum that game.
I feel like that one wouldn't be too difficult to play.
It is at the end.
It is?
Yeah. Oh. Because you have to fight Kenny as a different type of person.
Princess Kenny.
And I'm going the hard way about it, apparently.
Did you start with the Jew?
I started with the Jew.
No, because you have to. There's what it is with the trophies is there's one where you can't sell anything, and there's one that I think you have to sell a certain amount of stuff. I want the certain amount of stuff, so I have to do not selling anything, and then I have to go for rhinoplasty to turn my face into David Hasselhoff, which is the most expensive thing in the game.
Without selling anything?
Without selling anything. Without selling any junk, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Cheapers creepers.
So I have to go the hard way about this.
Yeah. And the fact that I have to appreciate Fractured Butthole doing...
I love that.
It rolls off the tongue so well.
I know. I love the fact that they didn't just go back to the fantasy thing and continue on. They're just like,
there's so
the game's switching up.
Yeah. They even riffed on it. It's like, we're not doing
fantasy anymore.
Oh, we're doing superheroes, guys.
Yeah. But the fact that they've switched it up means the game's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Like mechanics have to change, but it's still, I feel like the game's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be like the fantasy game, but with a hero reskin. They're going to develop a whole new game around it.
That's why this game has been taking so long to come out.
I'm cool with it.
I'm hearing October now.
I think it's October. I think it's October
now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close.
I cannot wait, which just adds another game to my October.
Yeah, that one's coming out on PC, so I'm okay with that.
Yes, me too. I'm PC.
But either way, it sucks that the Simpsons have fired their longtime composer.
But, everything needs to come to an end eventually.
The Simpsons really just kind of, I think, needs to come to an end.
27 years, right?
Something like that. Maybe it's the beginning of the end for them.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe this new season will...
Maybe this new music will breathe new life into the show.
Bet you won't notice any difference.
And that's my thought, is you won't notice a difference at all.
I think once you start toying around with that, people will get
Or my other piece, you have 27 years of orchestrated music that you can just
copy-paste,
throw into an episode, and when you need
to... You still have to pay
him. Something to change it, you just do it yourself internally.
Because he made it.
You have to pay him royalties, but you don't have to pay him to write it.
Yeah,
right now they're having...
It would be cheaper.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because he probably gets royalties anytime an old episode airs, so...
Yeah, you'd get royalties. Here's the fun part. This was on... I saw it on YouTube today. Or Facebook. Bryan Cranston was doing an interview with Seth Meyers.
Okay.
And he signed up, when he was doing Malcolm in the Middle, he signed up to one of the actors' unions. But it was the composer union. So the people who write, like, the lyricists union and songwriters union... Mm. The guy who did the music for Malcolm in the Middle went to him and went, sign up for this union. And he's like, well, why? And he's like, because Hal whistles and hums all the time. And Bryan Cranston's like, yeah. And he's like, you will make money every time you hum or whistle. Because it's an original composition, as long as you don't whistle a song that is, like, actually a song. And he's like, okay.
Neat.
So Bryan Cranston signed up for this, and every 4 months he'd receive a check that was like $250. For his compositions. And he's like, so I'd have a party for the staff, and he's like, eventually it got to the staff, like, where the staff was like, you know, something good just happened to Hal. He's walking down the street, you know, he's probably going to be whistling. And I was just like, Hollywood works so weird with those unions and stuff.
This the finest print.
Yeah, but that's why when it hits something like Netflix or it hits Superstation, he might not whistle as much anymore because they'll cut it out of the thing, so they don't.
You mentioned that with Supernatural the other day. How they've
started to cut out some of the songs.
They haven't been though, because I've actually we did
in the newer seasons and stuff. Apparently.
No, the older seasons.
I know
the older seasons.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of the newer seasons.
The newer stuff apparently they've cut.
But I think that's just in general though. Like for Supernatural, like they've just because the direction that show's been taking is like it's not. There's very little hard rock in it now.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a different complaint altogether.
But even Scrubs, if you watch the original Scrubs versus the stuff that was on Netflix, it's all changed. Just because they ran out of the licensing, and it was like to renew the licensing cost too much, so they just replaced it with cheaper songs.
And that happens a lot with video games. That's why you don't see a lot of re-releases of games. It's like, well, this one had tons of
licensing songs.
Indigo Prophecy was like that too, because everyone really wanted that one to come out. That was Quantic Dream's first game on the PS2. And there was a ton of licensed music in the original release. And
they should release Def Jam Vendetta.
Yep.
Those were good games.
Yep. That's why, what's that?
Game full of rappers where you're just beating the snot out of each other.
Great.
What is that other one that Harmonix did? Frequency? I think it was a music rhythm game. And the first one on the PS2 had a ton of licensed music. And people wanted that on the PS4. And they couldn't do it. Just the way it works. And plus, Harmonix being a small indie developer now, they don't have that money to shell out to.
All I know is I got to play as DMX and beat the snot out of people with X gonna give it to you playing in the background.
I know.
Honestly, if they did another Def Jam game, throw Deadpool in there just for funsies. It's like an unlockable character, and it's like
skin for.
Yeah, it's like
Who owns Def Jam now? EA? I think EA still owns it.
Well, Def Jam owns Def Jam. Like that's a record label.
Yeah, but the rights to make a game?
I don't know who owns the rights to make a
Def Jam game.
I don't know if Def Jam still has to.
It might be EA.
EA made the games. I'm just not sure if that was a licensing thing or if Def Jam went to EA going like, You make game, we pay. Like
we'll give you.
That might have been that era where they just kind of pumped everything out.
Yeah.
Either way, it was so good.
It was a crazy. Another game that weirdly came out.
That's a fighting game I would play.
I love those games.
So that's
the news.
We'll get it later.
They're back there.
We'll get it later.
I have both of them.
Yeah, both good.
So thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Stay tuned in about 5 minutes or so.
Yes.
5 minutes or so.
We will take Noire out of our title and
we'll take a break.
Take a break and come back.
Dark
Post-credit show.
Posting.
I don't know why I said it like that because it's
not. It's still current hours. We are still in
current hours.
We are still in business hours right now.
Sorry.
We're still business hours.
We are business houring. Either way, we will come back to the post-credit show where we're going to talk about all the things we've
done, games we've played,
and movies we've watched,
things,
and TV we have watched,
experiencing.
New TV comes out soon.
That's true. I'm not even caught up my PVRs.
I'm so behind on other stuff.
New TV comes out soon. It's exciting.
Next week or so, something soon.
I don't know because
depends on which network. Depends on which.
Well, Google Play is already like sending me the things going like the new season of this is coming. Like
they know.
Pay your monies now, and I'm like, okay. So
that's how they get you.
That's how they get me. Either way, stay tuned.
We'll get you later though.
Yeah, and if you want to check something out, well, we're on a break. Go to barrelrollnews.com.
You'll find all of those things there.
Yeah, then you can follow us on Twitter and
follow
Facebook
us. Just follow us.
Just follow us.
Stalk us.
We like being stalked. It's something we enjoy. Either who.
We'll stalk us.
Bye.
Bye.